So the next thing that we want to understand before we get into the real world applications is that diminished chords, because of this unusual structure, they contain tritones. Depending on how you voice it, a diminished chord could contain two tritones. This one, this voicing, there's a tritone between B flat and E. There's a tritone between C sharp and G. And if you've studied tonal music and harmony, you know that tritones tend to want to resolve. They can either resolve where one goes down and the other goes up, or it could go the opposite way. So here the lower voice is going down and the upper voice is going up. It could also go this way. So the lower voice is going up and the upper voice is going down. So you could say here I'm resolving from G diminished 7th, G diminished 7th to F. And I could also resolve that to B. I'll do that again. So that tritone, we went this way and we went like that. Now you've got this other tritone. So C sharp and G, that seems to be part of like an A7 chord, so that could resolve to D. Excuse me. So I'm going C sharp up to D and G down to F sharp. I'll do it here. But again, that tritone could resolve a different way. It could resolve, I've resolved to an A flat major chord. So now G goes up to A flat and D flat goes down to C, and you get that. So this chord could go to A flat major, could go to F major, could go to, let's see, what else did we say? It could go to B, D. Did we say that already? And it could also go to the minor versions of any of those chords. So we could go G sharp diminished, could go to D minor, could go to F minor, it could go to B minor, it could go to A flat minor. So one type of diminished chord, G diminished 7th, or we could call it B flat diminished 7th, E diminished 7th, or C sharp diminished 7th, could go to 4 different major resolutions and 4 minor resolutions. So it's really a kind of a portal to all kinds of harmonic movement. I want to show you one, and again, if that doesn't make sense, please go back and watch that bit again so that it makes sense to you. If it doesn't make sense, sleep on it, watch it again tomorrow or a week from now, come back to it, or if you have a friend or a teacher who's really good with harmony, maybe they can explain more. But I'll show you one other interesting property of diminished chords, and then we'll get to some real world examples. So I'm going to go back to this slightly more easy to grab grip. So I'm playing G, C sharp, E, and B flat. So that's still this chord. I've just, instead of having G on top and B flat on the bottom, I've now put G on the bottom and B flat on top. It's a little easier to grab as a guitar player, right? So an interesting thing about this shape is that if you move any of these notes down a half step, you're going to be playing a dominant chord. So I'll go one at a time. So if I move the bottom note down, I'm playing F sharp 7. You see that? So this, you can think of this as like out of the D7 shape, but just transposed up 4 frets to F sharp 7. So G diminished 7 is a close relative of F sharp 7. If we move this note down on the 3rd string, we get this, which is C7. So G diminished 7 is a close relative of C7. Now I'm going to move this note down. So now I'm playing E flat 7th. So G diminished 7th, and all of the other diminished that are related to this. So G diminished 7th, B flat diminished 7th, E diminished 7th, C sharp diminished 7th. All of those are close relatives of E flat 7, of C7, F sharp 7, and then the final chord, which is if I move this top note down, we get A7. So, gosh, A7, F sharp 7, E flat 7, C7, B flat diminished 7th, G diminished 7th, E diminished 7th, C sharp diminished 7th. And any of those chords really could go to F or F minor, A flat or A flat minor, B or B minor, D or D minor. That's a lot of possibilities. So I will attach a PDF so that you can get a better look at this and have it as a reference. It might seem like there's a huge amount of information, and it is kind of a lot, but once you start to get to know this stuff, you realize there's only 3 groups. There's the G diminished 7th, which is 3 other diminished chords and related to dominant chords. Then there would be F sharp diminished 7th. That's 4 different diminished chords and 4 dominant chords and 8 possible resolutions if you have the major and the minor. And then there's F diminished 7th, which is, like I said, it's a lot of things. And then once you get down to E, it's the same as G. So you only need to memorize 3 different groups of 4, and then all of the possibilities that go with those. So check out the PDF if you have access to it, and you can use that for reference. As I mentioned, right on the PDF, there's a little lesson on this in Miles Okazaki's book called the book is called Fundamentals of Guitar by Miles Okazaki. And the particular lesson in that book that addresses this stuff is called Dominant Movements. So if you want to read up a little bit more about this, that would be a good place to do it.